Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. So about 3 months ago, we had lunch at a Cuban spot. That's when my first time meeting you and your husband, David. It was amazing. And I wanted to kind of learn more about everything that you're doing with your communities, with your business. So I had to bring it on, guys. Everyone, please meet Dionne. What's up?
I'm great. What's going on?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for jumping on. Really appreciate you. Can't wait for you to share some of these gems and everything you got going on. But before we get to that, who is Dionne?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I'll say this. I am a child of God. Um,
Mm,
I am a mother. I am
uh-huh.
a wife. I
Nice.
am a leader.
Okay.
And I'm really taking that. I'm a purpose-driven leader. And I think I'll qualify that. So
Mm,
I really pride myself on that, if you will. Uh,
okay.
So uh, I'm a coach now. I'm actually a life and leadership coach.
Nice.
Behind every coach, there's one heck of a story, you know?
I can't wait to hear that story.
Yeah. So actually, my first chapter was in fashion. That was the
Okay.
dream. Yeah. I came from a small town in Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, with
Wow.
the dream, yep, to work on Fifth Ave and work in fashion. And I did that for over 20 years. Got to
Congrats.
some of the most beautiful places. I did work in women's luxury fashion, European brands. So I got to
Nice.
fly to Paris and Germany and Italy and all the most beautiful places in America, in North America, actually.
Wow.
But it just, it came up to a point in my life. I was 40. I was a
Mm,
single mom at the time
okay.
in this 20-year singular career. And I just felt there was more I was
Mm,
supposed to do. There was something tugging at me. It couldn't just be, one more dress or one more, showroom. There was something more for me to do.
yeah.
I thought I was going to be a kindergarten school teacher. Um,
Really?
my son was that age, when they're a sponge. Uh, and interestingly enough, right around that time, my son's father asked me to launch a financial literacy youth program.
Okay.
Like, wow. But I'll put this piece in. This is the twist.
Yeah.
He's my ex at this point.
Oh, wow.
We'll see how this ties in later to where
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah. We got to get
has
all the deets on
has
that.
refined. Yeah. But I'm like, wow, it's still empowering and educating the next generation
Hmm.
just in a different way. And don't forget, I have no finance background. Like that's not, I was a fashion girl. But I actually ended up saying yes. And
Okay.
we launched a financial literacy youth program called Financially Clean. We've
Wow.
touched thousands of young people in schools and youth organizations. Then from that, a five-star rated podcast was born. I'm not sure if you've heard
Congrats.
of it, called Two Black Guys with Good Credit.
I have.
Yeah, I was the lady with the facts,
Wow.
that
That's
for like
awesome.
5 years. Isn't that cool? So now
That's
we're
awesome.
talking thousands around, North America. But I'm like, this is still not my thing. This is his thing. I feel like I helped build out his dream, but I still haven't
Yeah.
found, even though I'm using my voice, I'm empowering
Yeah.
all the things, it's still not my dream. So I continued my search.
Okay.
And it's funny, it's when I met my now husband,
Okay.
had just hired a coach.
Wow.
Let me sit in on his sessions. I'm like, ooh, this is fascinating. Just being a fly on the wall. And so when his coach had posted for new registrants for the program,
Hmm.
I went for it. And even at that time, I didn't think I was going to be a coach, but here I am.
Yeah.
So now I'm a life and leadership coach.
Congrats.
Started out, working with particularly just working moms, women, you can imagine where that was
Mhm.
inspired from. The company's called Live Your Best Life for You,
Okay. I
uh,
like that. That's a cool name.
not from a selfish place, but it's about
Yeah.
how can we make room, for
Yeah.
our purpose, our light, because we're giving as mothers, we're as
Yeah.
women we're giving. How do we also make sure that we're taking care of ourselves?
Hmm.
From that, now I've also expanded into executive leadership coaching, um,
Nice.
and my journey's evolved, and now I'm seeing how all the dots are connecting
Yeah.
because by me choosing to forgive my son's father, who
Mm,
sadly we had to break up after 17 years. We were college sweethearts due to
mm.
infidelity. you
Oh,
know.
wow.
But me choosing to forgive and, even launch this program with him,
Yeah.
we were able to heal, rewrite our legacy, touch and, put good into the world. Our son
Yeah.
would come and see us teaching classes and giving back. We took family trips together. My son, we just flew him off to college last year together and got him settled into,
That's
right?
amazing.
So we did it, because I was committed. I believe forgiveness was the way if we were going to have a healthy, loving
Mhm.
co-parent relationship. But look at how much, came out of
Yeah.
that. I forgave.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I got so much to ask. All right, let's go back. So I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from Haiti, right? So when I first came to the States, I had a little bit different mindset. I'm curious, what was your mindset coming from a small town in Canada to New York City, right? Because New York City is, the big apple, the big time. What was that back then?
Well, for me, I was fearless then. I graduated on let's say June 29th, and I was on that train to New York City the next day. And I'm happy.
Wow.
My family's also from the Caribbean, raised by a single mom. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to say she never held me back. She never
That's
projected her fear. She encouraged me. So I think that helped.
mm.
I did have family. If you're familiar with New York and Caribbean people,
Yeah,
I started East
all the
Flatbush with my
Caribbeans in
auntie
there.
on Utica and Linden, okay? And in the heart of it.
Caribbean Street. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I just went there wide-eyed with a belief. Now, it was not a straight line. So I want to give that to everyone who may be
Yes.
thinking, on that verge of taking that leap. It was not a straight line. So stay open, have a very fixed, have your goal, but also leave room
Yeah.
because my first position, I don't remember when
Yeah.
you go to the classifieds. Remember that? I don't know if you're probably too
Yeah,
young.
yeah, like kind of.
I'm dating myself. But I saw an ad for fashion assistant. So I
Oh,
make the call, all right, or maybe I faxed. I might have even faxed my
oh
resume.
man, that is a while ago.
And turns out it was a recruiting firm
Okay.
specializing in the fashion industry.
Wow.
Actually in Trump Tower, which was a big deal back then, walking into those marble brass doors,
Yeah.
you're like, 20s. So that was cool. And I actually took the job, started out as a researcher, so assisting the recruiters. But
Okay.
it gave me a wealth of knowledge and information. So when I
Mhm.
was ready to make my move, you see where I'm
Yeah.
going with it? I
Yeah, yeah,
knew
yeah, yeah.
trade publications to read because eventually I got even promoted to recruiter. Even though I
Okay.
hated what I do, I knew I wasn't staying. But while I was there, still operating that spirit of excellence and just gaining as much
Yeah,
knowledge.
knowledge, exactly.
Interview skills, what they look for in a resume, what
Mm.
companies, are worthwhile working. I used that time to really strategize and then make my move into fashion.
That's
So
amazing.
just stay open and, network, gain the
Yeah.
skills. So when you are ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what was your biggest takeaway at that job? I know even though you hated it, like what was that big thing that you're like, okay, I got that from there.
Sure. I think the biggest eye opener was the fact even that no one knew. I didn't
Mm.
I
Say that
still
again.
no one knew I hated my job. I
Wow.
still went in there, like I said, with this spirit of excellence and professionalism and
Mm.
commitment. That's why I got promoted. And
Mm.
guess what? It didn't stop there. Then one of
Mm.
the recruiters got recruited to a bigger executive search firm. And guess what? She poached me, and I went with her to start a new division
That's
within
amazing.
this firm. Remember, I hate my job. You see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The big picture, right?
Yeah. You
Ahead
have
of
to,
you. That's what keeps you waking up in the morning, keeping
yeah.
you anchored, right?
That's amazing. Wow. So
Yeah.
let's fast forward a little bit, right? You got the bigger job, you did amazing work there. And then you mentioned something about you and your ex-husband starting a financial literacy company and forgiveness. Are you open to talk more about that? Like what happened? And tell us about forgiveness, right? Because we hear that term a lot. I forgive them, but sometimes it's hard to forgive somebody for something. like something you're like, I don't know if I should forgive, although, you hear from the Bible and all that stuff. So tell
Mhm.
us about that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up because sometimes we're told, right? The Bible tells us to, or our parents when we
Yeah.
were kids told us to forgive, but
Yeah.
that's not forgiveness. So I'll even start there. There has
Mm,
to be willingness. You actually have to be willing. It's a deliberate act. So it's
mm,
not passive. So what forgiveness is, it's a deliberate act. It's
mm-hmm.
a conscious decision. And it's regardless, right? You're releasing those negative emotions,
Yeah.
resentment, anger. But guess what? This is the part that stings. It's regardless if they are worthy, deserving. That's the part people have to get around because it's for you.
Mm,
So it's not giving up.
yeah.
Forgiving is not giving in because that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reasons why people don't want to forgive. They think, oh, well,
Yeah.
they're off the hook, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
my feelings are no longer valid. I'm giving up if I forgive.
Mm,
So it's not, it's forgiving. Sorry, it's not giving up. It's not
mm-hmm.
giving in. It's forgiving. And most importantly, that gift is you. Forgiveness is for you, not them. If you don't
Mm,
take anything else away from this conversation, right? And it's not forgetting either, right?
okay.
So that's
Yeah.
also sort of a myth out there as well. Doesn't mean you forgive and let somebody keep hurting you, for example, and repeating the
Yeah.
behavior, right? But it's releasing the negative emotion and not letting let it define your life, your future anymore, because you want to be free. So
Yeah.
that's that. I wasn't a coach then. I wasn't
Yeah.
as deep in my faith then, but somehow intuitively I knew for what I want to create next, right? Whether it's in
Mm-hmm.
relationship, whether it's in my career,
Mm-hmm.
you're holding on to resentment and anger and bitterness, it
Yeah.
blocks your blessings. It blocks what it doesn't make room for the new.
Wow.
Forgiveness.
Repeat that again.
So yes, so if you're holding on to anger, resentment, bitterness,
Mm-hmm.
it blocks your blessings. When you forgive, you release the old so you can make room for the new.
Wow.
I actually say that forgiveness is one of the highest forms of personal transformation because think about who you are on the
Yeah.
other.
Let me ask you this, right? Someone gonna listen to this, they'll be like, that sounds good, but how do I actually do that? Right? Because certain things happen, maybe it's personal life or business. You're like, I don't know if I can forgive this person for this because they should have known better. You still have that resentment feeling, that anger. I know it doesn't happen overnight, right? Look, what was that process for you? How long did it take you to go through that and said, you know what, I'm willing to forgive him for this?
So interestingly enough, with my son's father,
Hmm.
it was pretty immediate.
Interesting.
I was very clear on what I was committed to. And so this is the thing that might really help people. It's when you shift your focus from the circumstances, the wrongdoer, the offense,
Hmm.
you reshift your focus to what deep down inside, what are you committed to? So
Mm,
for me, it was my son's well being.
mm,
I was committed to my son having a healthy foundation,
yeah,
whatever that looked like. Even though we weren't together, he would have a healthy, solid, loving, you know, co parenting
yeah.
situation so he could thrive. So that's what I was committed to. So when you're clear on your commitment, that shapes your actions. That shapes how you're going to
Mm,
show up in that interaction, right?
I
So
see.
that's what was able to, again, rather than the circumstances, pushing you and
Yeah.
dragging you down, I was really allowing that vision I had for my son
Hmm.
instead.
Wow. That is powerful. You just saw the bigger picture and then it makes sense for you. And now I'm curious because you took this to a whole new level. You started like a journal around this. Tell us about that.
Oh, yes. So that's a byproduct, actually. So everything started with a group coaching program that
Okay.
I and that was last December.
Hmm.
as I said, my audience is typically mothers, working moms.
Okay.
They typically at least in their 30s, 40s and up, because they've been through some life by then, whether it's
Yeah.
relationship, breakup, co-parenting, you
Mm-hmm.
know, bosses that did them wrong. They're still holding stuff, on their
Mm.
parents for 40 years. At that point, you're like, oh, I'm ready for something new. You're in that legacy mode, maybe. So
Mm-hmm.
that's who I was really focusing on originally.
Yeah.
Uh, Doing that virtually, as we're coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Uh, it's called the Conquering Unforgiveness Mastermind.
Okay.
And then I'm happy to say Forgiveness has now opened doors where I just wrapped up a 3-part series at Hostos College with the parents.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. This weekend, I'm going to wrap up a 2-part series at NYU, also
Look
teaching
at
the
that.
parents.
I love it.
Thank you. And that was the first time that I had fathers, Black fathers.
Mm.
I had couples in that
Mhm.
session. That was the largest group. It was 25 people in an auditorium. I said, how's this going to go? Because typically, based on the type of content, very intimate,
Yeah.
traumatic shares, I usually keep it smaller. But now
Yeah.
it's 25 people in a great big auditorium at New York University. And man, we didn't even get through the shares and the introductions, and the tears are just,
Wow.
flowing. It's powerful. And so I'm really excited about where it's taking me. But to
Mm-hmm.
see couples in the session where they're both going to have the tools, the language,
Yeah.
that does the atmosphere of a family
Oh,
when you can,
yeah.
you know,
Full
having,
shift.
yeah. How about fathers, especially Black fathers, having a new outlets to resolve healthy conflict?
Mm-hmm.
They can model that for their Black boys. So this is
Mm.
the impact is generational and
Yeah.
exponential. That's what I love about this work. And then I said, you know what? With the executive coaching that I'm doing with
Yeah.
leaders, it doesn't matter if I'm coaching leaders in New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
India, the UK, Italy. I keep hearing these recurring themes, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's about being really, really hard on ourselves as high performing, high achieving leaders.
Yeah.
We are constantly beating ourselves up. We'll get 99% of the project right. And we're ruminating on the
That
1%.
1%.
You're laughing. Is that, would you say you're in that club? You know?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Or some, they're not even speaking up in a meeting. Because if I'm not 120% right,
Mm.
I'm going to beat myself up if I'm wrong, or I'm just not going to speak up at all. So that was the inspiration. So could we bring self-forgiveness and forgiveness into the workplace? What would shift?
Wow.
So that's the first installment of my journal, the 90-day Conquering Unforgiveness Journal for high performing high achievers.
That's amazing.
And
Where
it's,
can everybody get this?
oh, sure. So it's on Amazon. And the
Okay.
whole idea is it's a habit forming forgiveness journal. So
Huh.
as we know, 30 days to create a habit,
Yeah.
90 days to create a lifestyle.
Wow.
So the idea is by doing these prompts every day, it's 5 minutes in the morning, busy high
Mm.
achievers. I get it. So quick in the morning, quick at night before you go to bed, reflections. And if you're doing that on a repetitive basis, right down to the most granular, simpler, what can I do regularly? That's where we
Yeah.
see the impact and change, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's the premise of the journal. And you can find it on Amazon right now,
I
you
love
know.
it. Guys, check it out. Make sure you grab your journal ASAP, especially now.
Yes, yes,
Before they
going into
run
this
out.
new year. Yeah, right. Limited, yes. And then you want to clear out the old. You're going into this new year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, this is amazing. Now let me ask you this, right? You have this journal, but you're also building like a whole community around this.
I am.
Tell us
Thanks for
about
that.
that.
Sure. So I say my vision is this. What would the world be like
Mm,
if millions of people are forgiving themselves more easily
yeah.
and on a regular basis? What would there be more of in this world?
Mm-hmm.
What would there be less of? So that is my commitment, my mission to create a conquering unforgiveness movement.
Mm.
I've already started just with, with the group
Yeah, with the
session
journal. Yeah.
and now the journal. And the idea is now, because I know when we're hot on it, we get something new, we're going to
Yeah.
take this new practice, right? Whether it's productivity or mindset, whatever it is, new workout. If we don't have accountability, what happens?
It falls to the wayside after 2, 3 months.
So I did a little test ground or testing, with another group. It was a gratitude group, much
Okay.
smaller. But I just saw the level of impact that took place because I'm a brand ambassador for another gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone got the journal. And all we did, it was a Slack group, but all we did was check in every morning with what we
Wow.
were grateful for. That's all we were doing. But then you noticed how people started sharing more and maybe
Yeah.
resources. So, a community formed, a sisterhood in this case, it was all women. And then we would get on a Zoom once a month
That's
and
awesome.
check in. And it was always so amazing to hear the breakthrough, the shifts, right?
Yeah.
The healing that was taking place and this beautiful community, deeper connection and relationship. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take that
Mm-hmm.
and bring that model over to my journal and create a community because I actually don't want to just buy the journal and
Yeah,
then you're
yeah,
going to lay it dry. I want you to have that same level of community and support and accountability. So you actually see this thing through because I want to see you have the physical,
yeah.
mental, emotional, and spiritual benefits of forgiveness. Forgiveness is so far reaching, as you can see,
Yeah.
whether it's finances, whether it's in family, relationship,
Mm,
business. Yeah, I want people to
wow.
really experience that. So that's the premise of the community. Buy the journal, sign up for my community, and it's launching in January. Sign up for my email so you can get the
Mhm.
launch date. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. There'll be live coaching at least once a month. I'll bring in guest speakers and, but
That's
there
awesome.
always support, but that idea of just checking in makes a world of difference. So that's
No,
the
I agree. It's a lot of us don't realize this, but that one little piece of accountability allow people to go further. Once they're past that 90-day threshold, right? They know, okay, they have that group that they're checking in consistently. So now they're gonna go for maybe another 90 day and a 6 months. And now it's impacting their family and their work life. So I could see the global impact this can do. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. So my first milestone I've chosen is July 7th. It's actually Global Forgiveness Day. So
Okay.
I'm declaring 1,000 people practicing forgiveness by July 7th, 2024. So that's
I
the goal.
love I love that vision. I didn't even know there was a global forgiveness day until now.
That's why I'm here. I'm spreading this forgiveness word.
That's awesome. So, all right, to kind of wrap things up, right? We have a lot of business owners that listen to this, and you just give us some really good gems when it comes to forgiveness. What is that one small biz tips you would share with any business owners to really help them, with their business?
Sure. I am recognizing, 'cause I'm at this point in my journey now,
Hmm.
knowing when it's time to start delegating,
Mm,
delegating. So that would be my biggest tip. You'll
okay.
notice when it's time, like you may start dropping the ball or
Yeah,
getting too stretched, and
yeah.
you need to start delegating some things off your plate. Maybe
Hmm.
the administrative stuff. It could be the accounting stuff. Um, Even now, I have to be scheduling my travel. At some point, you
Yeah,
realize I need a VA, or maybe I need to outsource my social media, because you want to have the space to be great to do what you were purposed to do. Like what I
yeah,
love is going out and doing speaking engagements and facilitating. That's my jam, being on interviews with you. So,
yeah.
yeah, no
Delegation is big.
and automating, right?
I
Systems,
love
systems.
it.
Yeah.
Nah, this is awesome. So, how do people find you, Dionne? Like, if they're like, "Yo, I love this. I want to stay in touch with Dionne." What's the best way for them to find you?
Sure. So the best way, IG at Dionne Nicholls, right?
Okay.
DIONNE NICHOLLS. You can also find me at LinkedIn, same at
Mhm,
Dionne Nicholls. Facebook, same at Dionne Nicholls. You can always check out the Conquering Unforgiveness
mhm.
Movement.com, and you can learn
Okay.
about me and pick up the journal and sign up for the community. Yeah, and my website, Live Your Best Life for You. So there's so many ways to find me.
That's
Check me out.
awesome. Guys, check out Dionne, grab the forgiveness journal, get in the community, and make an impact for your life in the next year. All right. Thank you again for jumping on. This was amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity. So glad you fed me that day.
Absolutely. Later.
Bye.